Now's the time to save 30% on wedding jewelry, only on BlueNile.com. Make sure your wedding ring is the one with your pick of diamond and lab-grown diamond bands, all hand-finished and graded for excellence. Or surprise her with something blue she'll love for life, like a stunning pair of sapphire earrings. Blue Nile's jewelry experts are available 24/7 to help, from fit questions to style advice. Right now, get up to 30% off at BlueNile.com. BlueNile.com.
If you're struggling to lose weight, you've probably heard about weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound, and you might be wondering if they're right for you. Meet PlushCare, a leading telehealth provider with doctors who are there for you day and night to partner with you in your weight loss journey. If you qualify, they can safely prescribe you medication from the comfort of your own home. To get started, visit plushcare.com/weight-loss. That's plushcare.com/weight-loss. plushcare.com/weight-loss.
This episode is brought to you by La Quinta by Wyndham. Your work can take you all over the place, like Texas. You've never been, but it's going to be great because you're staying at La Quinta by Wyndham. Their free Bright Side breakfast will give you energy for the day ahead. And after, you can unwind using their free high-speed Wi-Fi. Tonight, La Quinta. Tomorrow, you shine. Book your stay today at LQ.com.
Hello and welcome to the Paddock and the Pavilion, the horse racing and cricket podcast, with me, your host, Stephen Wallace. Today it's back to cricket. It's been over 12 months since I last featured FairBreak, so there is no one better to speak to than their CEO, Cheryll Rogers, who, as you will soon find out, has had a busy 9 months in the role. On the Paddock and the Pavilion, I've been a strong advocate of the movement, whose mission is to progress equality on a truly global scale using cricket as their vehicle. Many Fairbreakers from around the world have joined me on the show during the past 2 years, including Roberta Moretti Avery from Brazil, Shizuka Miyagi from Japan, and Tina Gough from Germany. But let's hear all the latest FairBreak news from Cheryll. Hello, Cheryll. Welcome to the Paddock and the Pavilion.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, thanks very much for agreeing to be on the show. A lot's happened in FairBreak since my last podcast on the FairBreak movement, which was after the April 23 tournament in Hong Kong. I had to think then where it was because the first one in 2022 was in Dubai. You've been doing a lot of traveling lately.
I have a home in Antigua. I'm very lucky to have that. And so I've been out there for some time, building partnerships with Cricket West Indies and with the Caribbean Premier League for FairBreak.
And that's one of the things we're going to talk about on this show. And on today's show, we're going to talk about FairBreak's cricketing plans, exciting new partnerships. You've also got a foundation you've just set up. I'm going to ask you why we should support FairBreak and the future of FairBreak. But to start with, I just wanted to for background and for listeners, just to find a bit more about Cheryll Rogers and how did you get the job as the CEO of FairBreak?
Thank you. Well, I'm a psychotherapist by training, and my speciality is working with young women who come from abusive backgrounds. I sit on a board for Barnardo's and work with the UK government and with the SAS in bringing out traumatized victims, refugees and asylum seekers, and helping specifically with young women and girls and advising on communities. It was whilst I was working for Barnardo's, I was up at Wormsley at a cricket match for them, where I met Alistair, and he was running Wormsley at the time. He asked me to speak to Sean Martin, who is the founder of FairBreak. So I had a chat with Sean, could see the tremendous impact that FairBreak would be able to make globally. And agreed to be an ambassador for them and started working to help kind of broaden the reach of FairBreak. During the course of last summer, Sean unfortunately wasn't very well, and so I took a more active role, and then subsequently was asked to become chief exec. The reach that we have is incredible. We work on every continent. We have women I think everybody knows that we have women, essentially half the women who play for FairBreak come from what we would describe as the First Nations. And then the rest come from associate nations, meaning that we are able to give opportunities to women who otherwise would never be able to play at a serious international standard against some of the best players in the world. The way that FairBreak's structured, it's absolute fairness and absolute integrity, I think, is really important to the brand of FairBreak and what we bring to cricket globally. And the opportunities we're able to bring now with a more broad spectrum, looking at creating girls' cricket clubs around the world to support women in environments where they're perhaps in danger or less advantaged. And as you mentioned, the foundation we've created has been launched in the States, and the funding from that will go into raising up young women across the globe in places where they have much more difficult lives.
Are you enjoying the job so far?
It's been a very challenging 9 months. It's incredibly empowering to be able to work with the people I do. The team we have at FairBreak is incredible. Head of cricket is Alex Blackwell down in Sydney, and she works closely with Sana Mir and Mignon Dupre. They select the women who play for FairBreak. Andy Miller is based in the USA and is a fantastic ops director. We've brought on board Colin Tennant. He is ex-ICC anti-corruption and now a specialist in ensuring compliance for everything we do at FairBreak. I check out every decision I make with him to make sure that we're not facing any difficulties anywhere we play in the world. What's been really nice is that we've created a reporting structure, an independent reporting structure for any girls who are involved with FairBreak. If they have any difficulties, they can come and speak to Colin. We know that within the whole world of sports, really, not just cricket, but if you're playing for a team and you have an issue, if you report within the team, unfortunately, it's often the case that the person who is suffering the abuse is the one that is made to leave whilst the abuser stays, especially if it's, a coach or somebody who's, involved in a board. So we've created this new idea and working with the ICC to create a gold standard for women's cricket. I'm working with Snehal to make sure that everything we do. I mean, what I'm trying to do with FairBreak is create a really global organisation that is recognised as being the gold standard for women's cricket. And I don't mean women playing men's cricket. We're changing the game. The next tournament will see some significant differences in how we play the game, how the games are structured, the times, what the women are allowed to do. I think we're fundamentally, of course, cricket is a golden game that has its absolute rules, but what women need when they play is quite different to what men need.
Let's talk about cricket then. I'm sure listeners will want to know FairBreak's cricketing plans. As you said, Sean Martin founded FairBreak in 2013. He organised two very successful tournaments, one in Dubai in 2022 and one in Hong Kong in 2023. What can you tell us about cricketing plans for FairBreak?
Well, yeah, Sean organised two amazing tournaments and gave huge opportunities to the women who played there. Those tournaments were funded by Ramsay Venkatesh, who is a fantastic philanthropist and an ICC umpire. But it's not sustainable to have one person pay for all of that. And the tournament to run at the level that we run them, to have 150 individuals traveling from all around the world to play in an international stadium, costs around $4 million US. Now, what I'm doing with FairBreak is creating a commercial organisation, well funded, well structured, with big global international sponsors and partners that will ensure its future success. So that's kind of the commercial side of what I'm doing. Cricket-wise, I think I'd like to wait until we deliver it, because I know what the world's like. And if you give an idea out, sure as God made little apples, that somebody else will do it before you. So I think it's exciting. It's going to be really beautiful to watch. But really, the nuance of women's cricket is what I want to bring forward, and to really create a different tournament that people are really engaged in watching.
Will we be seeing FairBreak play in 2024?
I've literally just had a conversation, and there is a chance that later this year we will be involved in a tournament. It won't be an entirely FairBreak tournament, but we've been asked to join another international tournament, and I may well be able to put a FairBreak team together for that. Timing wise, of course, money is the key in any sport, in any organization. And what I will ensure is that FairBreak is fully funded before I commit to any spending. So that's a really important aspect, again, of the integrity of what FairBreak stands for. It's really important that we know that we've got a very solid platform. But certainly next year, we're looking to play our own tournament, and that should be in South Africa.
And I know you've been speaking to the ICC. You can get a window when FairBreak can take place and attract the leading players.
Yes, I mean, I think where we're lucky is even if there are series going on, the way that FairBreak tournaments are structured, we'll always be able to attract top girls. They'll remain in their teams, so they build that sense of family. And it's been really amazing for me to come on board with FairBreak and actually join the family of these amazing women with fantastic careers who are so supportive of each other, incredibly dedicated to FairBreak and willing to give their time to come and play. What we're looking to do eventually, I think, is create the FairBreak fortnight. And what I'm trying to do at the moment is partner with as many international boards around the world as I can. Because if they see the value that FairBreak gives to their players, are more likely to kind of create this window that will be the FairBreak time. But there's such a lot of cricket in the world now; it's very difficult to carve out a niche when you're not going to have some girls somewhere who aren't available.
But you've found support from the ICC.
Yes, very much so. They recognise the good that we do and the level at which the standard we try to hold ourselves to. And what I'm hoping is that we can really create like a blueprint for the way that women's cricket should be played and the way that all the players should be treated.
Because the last tournament, I think it was about 90 players from, was it over 30 countries? And one team had 11 different countries, the Falcons, in their team.
That's right. I've got two other prongs that I'm looking to work with for FairBreak as well. One will be the All-Stars team, which will be a squad of 15 women from 15 countries who will be able to play any international side. And I think what's important is the diversity that we can bring onto the field. And then the other thing we can do is we're looking to work with the associate boards to be able to give their girls more international cricket and bring together the foundation team. And the foundation team will be 15 women from 15 associate nations. So always that equality and diversity across the teams that we put together. And yeah, that's very much what we're looking to do across all of our tournaments. Is to have, I mean, with the tournament we're looking to put together at the minute, because we're considering moving to 8 teams from 6. We'll be 120 women, and we can come from 45 countries. I think what we're able to do is so unique, but it's also very difficult. So I think we need to take a breath. I have taken a pause in actually delivering any of the work that we do, but there's so much work going on in the background. We've got partners now with, we're recreating the branding with Matter. We have Stelvagen Ventures looking at the commercialization, Baz Ballers, Moonrise, Lacuna will be providing all our kit. We are looking to partner with, as I say, all the international boards, but associate boards too. Previously, Sean had to pay sanction fees to be able to play in countries, but those have been wiped now because of the recognition that FairBreak has across the world. The first partnership with Cricket West Indies has been incredibly easy to put together, Cricket South Africa. And I'd say we're looking to build this out so that we can build a schedule out for the future of where we play and how we play. Because the sooner we can put our dates in, the better, the more chance we've got for other people to be able to release their players to us.
You are very unique. You're travelling players from all over the globe, whereas normally teams are just one team getting on a plane, aren't they?
Exactly. And it's really important to me that we maintain safety and security of all of our players. We had considered running a tournament this year, but because of the geopolitical situation, I decided against it. It's, as you say, when, for instance, if England are going, they've got 30 girls with their coaches and they're all traveling together on the same flight to the same destination. I've got potentially 150 individuals traveling from all over the world through various airports, having to sometimes change. So, for instance, they're coming from Sydney, they're flying into Heathrow, transferring to Gatwick to get to the Caribbean. The logistics of what we try to do are absolutely incredible. And we're lucky to have, we're looking to put together we've got an airline partner possibly coming on board. I've got a conversation with the ambassador of that country tomorrow. And then looking to work with a travel company that I've just met with. I can't say it yet because we haven't put it together, but actually tremendous goodwill on board from everyone that we talk to wants to be involved with us because of what Sean built. He has built the most tremendous organisation.
And I know, speaking to many players from non-test playing nations in particular, how much they love playing for FairBreak.
Yeah, I think it's really important because, of course, their careers are not on the line when they play for us. Their place in their country is not on the line. We're trying to create a real festival, fun, family feel about what we do. And as I say, trying to put together, for instance, if a woman's got a small child under 3, the baby can come, they can bring a partner with them to help look after the baby. We're making sure that the protective gear that they get is of the very top class. The timings and the way that we're scheduling the tournaments mean that the girls are not under too much pressure to play back-to-back games. We really have put so much thought into building out the very best so that those women, when they stand on the field, feel brilliant, they look great, and they've got the opportunity to play their absolute best cricket in an environment where they know they're there standing together, all those women from around the world standing together to raise up all women around the world. I don't know whether you've seen the new logo. It's a big F, and it's an equal sign and a full stop. So, what we're talking about with FairBreak is equality, full stop. That's what we want to bring across the world. And it is a movement. It's not just a cricket tournament.
Coming up later in this episode, Cheryll talks about some exciting new partnerships for FairBreak. You will find all the previous FairBreak episodes in our archive of nearly 300 episodes on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google, Spotify, and now on our YouTube channel. Now let's return to Cheryll and hear some exciting news about women's cricket kit. You mentioned lacuna and kit, and that's very important because it was only in a podcast I did with Jenny Thompson and on her World Cricket Tour, I didn't realise that women had been using men's kit, and I'm sure most men didn't either.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we're seeing across all sport now is more female specific. Lacuna are very special to me. Lee Burns is the female founder, female owned, only does women's kit. But even in the selection of kits, there's 4 or 5 different types of trousers that the women can wear because we have to be very sensitive to their religious needs. The tops are different shapes and sizes. If you look at a men's cricket team, they might be different heights, but they're pretty much all straight up and down. If you look at a women's cricket team, we're all shapes and sizes, and you need to have kit that accommodates that. Some women want to play with a collar, some with a round neck, some with long sleeves, some with short. The fit and the feel of the fabrics is so important. Not just about the way that a woman looks on the pitch. It's about how she feels. We want them to feel confident and comfortable. We had a situation, I wasn't involved in it, but where we had some Pakistani players, because they were made to tuck their shirts in, we're getting death threats. We don't need that. Women don't need to be under that pressure. We need to make sure that we're sensitive to everybody's religious needs, as well as their cultural needs and their own personal, differences. And that's what Lacuna's given us. It's a tremendous brand.
Families have a lot going on. Let Ollie help manage the mental load with new cognitive help supplements for everyone 4 and up, like delicious Lolly Focus Pops or Lolly Mellow Pops for kids. And for parents, try 3 new Brainy Chews to help you focus, chill out, or get energized. Find these cognitive health buddies for the whole fam at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
Look, Bumble knows you're exhausted by dating. All the, must not take yourself too seriously, and 6'1" since that matters, and what do I even say other than, hey? Well, that's why they're introducing an all-new Bumble, with exciting features to make compatibility easier, starting the chat better, and dating safer. They've changed, so you don't have to. Download the new Bumble now.
Just going forward to talk about the partnerships, you've mentioned some of them already. I know there's one with the Barbados Royals.
The girls' cricket club there, yeah. So, I mean, as I say, I've got a home in the Caribbean, and because of my technical training, I was asked to open a women's centre. But really, culturally, that's very insensitive, and politically would have not gone well. But we can open girls' cricket clubs, which still gives girls a safe space to come together, come to play. Because I'm a member of Global Social Leaders and ambassador for them, that's the top 100 schools in the world, and their online program will be available to our girls. I'm an ambassador for the Rise for the World Foundation, which is Eric Schmidt's foundation, to try and find children who think differently about an environment and ways that they can help their communities. I bring that along to the girls' cricket clubs. We're working with the CPL and looking to build out girls' cricket clubs within all of the islands where there's a CPL team. So the Falcons are looking to build one in Antigua. And I just had conversations this morning with the head of the CPL, agreeing that, that's a good way forward. We need more girls playing, but we need safe environments. The biggest problem we've got in Antigua is there's lots and lots of village cricket grounds, but there's no toilets. And that's fine for little boys, but it's not fine for little girls. And we need to really be much more culturally sensitive globally to the needs of women, because equality is one thing, but equity is another. Women need different environments to play safely and to be safe in. And I think that's, it doesn't cost a lot of money, but it takes a bit of thought, and understanding what's needed within each environment is really important, and being able to be sensitive in each area that we go to, because we work directly with people already there. I'm working with Rennie Edwards in Antigua. She's been trying to set up a girls' cricket club there for some time. I'm working with Roland Butcher in Barbados, and we're not going to come in as Fairbreak and say, well, you have to do it this way. We go and see what's already on the ground, who those people are who are working in that environment and what's working well. And then we can give support to that. And I think that's really important about the way that we work around the world. It'll be different in Africa. It'll be different in Nepal or Pakistan or India or Australia or Papua New Guinea. Wherever we go, we'll need to be able to be culturally sensitive to the needs of those in the environment already, and to bring our support to those people already working.
I'm glad you mentioned Roland, who's a regular guest on this podcast, because he's very passionate about the Barbados Royals.
Very much so. I work closely with Roland. He calls me most weeks, and we're all trying to do the same thing. And I think it's really lovely to come together with people who you respect in such a way. I mean, I work in Antigua with the Four Knights, with Viv, Andy, Richie, and Kirtley. And looking to bring them across when we build this academy out in Antigua, to make sure that their name is attached to that. The Four Knights Academy is something that I've been trying to help with for a couple of years. I'm a trustee for them, and it's really great to see that that the men really want to see the women's game grow as well. To bring that level of support across.
The big thing that's just started is your foundation.
Yes. So we have launched it in America. It's on a 501c3, so donations tax-free in the States. It's a huge market. We know that only 1% of America plays cricket, but that they have the Olympics coming up in 2028. We're very fortunate to have the most amazing team based in the States who are running the foundation for us. Julie Abbott will take over there as CEO. She's working on the ICC World Cup at the moment, but is very much engaged in women's cricket in America, and we've collaborated with UCLA to work with their elite softball players. Very quickly, we can bring the skills needed for cricket across. Once you've got an elite athlete who plays balls, their hand-eye coordination, ball skills, bat skills are all there. And really, it's just a question of teaching them the new techniques to be able to play cricket. So we know that we can work across a number of environments. We're working with the National Black Empowerment Council. We're working with the YMCA and with Big Brothers and Sisters, working with the education system. So we're just very, very fortunate to have been able to kind of drop into the States. But because of the level of collaboration that I have globally, to be able to access those networks quite quickly. And I think, obviously the World Cup is there at the moment. The foundation has been founded in collaboration with Cricket West Indies, and my first actions with the funds raised will be to build out these girls' clubs and make sure that they're well funded and well staffed. That we'll use the blueprint of the Barbados Royals Girls Club because that's been so detailed. But yeah, I think we're very fortunate. The market is huge. We know, as I say, that 1% of the USA, which is the South Asian community, play cricket. But actually, the opportunity in America is huge, and the opportunity for funding and sponsorship is incredible.
Hopefully, the World Cup and the Olympics are going to grow cricket in the USA. That's certainly what everyone wants to see.
Yeah, it is what everyone wants to see. But what I want to see is that it doesn't remain just in the South Asian community. We need to democratize cricket across the whole of America and make sure that every girl and boy gets a chance to play.
Fairbreakers also rebranded. You've got a new website.
Yes, so Matter the branding agency that have done the World Cup. They are working with us to recreate FairBreak. The language that they've created about everything that we do is really beautiful. I can remember reading when I first read the document that they sent across. I cried, and I think a lot of the people who are involved with FairBreak, to have them be able to distill the language of what we represent, of inclusion and fairness, of opportunity is really beautiful. It's colourful, it's bright, it's modern, and we're just in the process of finishing that, ready for the next potential tournament.
My next question was going to be the values that you've put on the website: inclusive, progressive, courageous, and equal.
Absolutely. I mean, their strap line was, is championing the challenged, and the women who play for FairBreak are champions in their own right. They are the best in the world, and they come together to raise up those who don't have that opportunity. The stories that we have, we'll be putting these out across our network. The individual stories of the players who play for us and the challenges they face. A lot of these women have still got full-time jobs, families, and they're still managing to be elite cricketers. I think the stories that we have and you hear through FairBreak will really raise up the voice of women around the world.
I think everyone loves to hear those sort of stories. It's much different playing for England and Australia and then playing international cricket and also having a family and working as well.
Absolutely. And it's not long since actually the England women were in that situation.
Exactly, yeah.
The world moved on very quickly for female sports, and I think it's being respected in a very different way, because a lot of those girls still will have to maintain that family role. It's just the way it is, and unfortunately the way it's going to be, because we are the ones who bear the children, and you can't change that biology.
But FairBreak is that movement that can give players from non-test playing nations to play against the test playing nations, which they wouldn't get without FairBreak.
That's right. And I think what's lovely too is the way that once they're in that team, they're on that WhatsApp group with those team members, they stay in touch the year round. For the rest of their lives, they're a part of that community. Once you are a FairBreaker, you're always a FairBreaker. And that's why it becomes a movement, because the more women who are involved, the more people that we touch, the more lives we touch, the greater the impact we can have.
And players learn so much from the elite players.
Absolutely. We all know if you play with better people that your game is raised. But what we also do with FairBreak is we bring together a fantastic team of coaches, team managers, physiotherapists, commentators, team, the organization that goes into running a tournament for FairBreak, and the opportunity that those girls who don't, we've got girls who come who've never played on a turf wicket. They've never, imagine having, an internet, a globally renowned coach you when perhaps you come from a place where essentially your coach might have been a school teacher. The different levels of what FairBreak bring in terms of opportunity to women around the world is phenomenal. So
why should people support FairBreak?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that we are, first of all, the only fully independent global organization. We're actually the only fully global team in any sport in the world. The opportunities that FairBreak can give to create a fairer world, and I know that probably sounds a bit big-headed, and I don't mean it to be, but I really see the impact that we have. And it's a trickle effect. We start at the top, but that trickles down through communities. Women go back into their communities full of enthusiasm, having seen a different way of life, a different way to be, and actually it creates empowerment across their communities. They're going to bring their children up differently. We give people opportunities for travel, education. And once you start to build that out, the opportunities are endless.
It can only be a force for good. What's your ambitions for FairBreak, say, in the next 12 months?
Firstly, to have a solid sponsorship base, and we are looking for investment. But again, I'm quite picky about it. I want people to see the vision, and I want them to invest in the vision of FairBreak and its aspirations. I don't just want people who want to own another team in a cricket league. That's not what FairBreak's about to me. I think the people that we're talking to at the moment really see the vision. And that's very heartening for me. But that's my first goal for FairBreak right now, is to ensure its financial viability and stability moving into the future, because that's the only way that we can really build this properly.
But cricket-wise, you can assure listeners that FairBreak is alive and well and will thrive.
Very much so, very much so. I mean, the goodwill that we have, the team that we have, yes, very much thriving, very much together. I did a town hall a couple of weeks ago to speak to the players who'd played for FairBreak and who will be involved in the next tournament. Very much open communication. Anybody's welcome to get in touch with me, ask any questions that they have. But yeah, rest assured that we are building a very solid organisation to take into the future. Anything else you'd like to say at all, Cheryl? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's a real pleasure to be able to speak to you and to work with FairBreak. It's a passion project. It's a lot of work, and yeah, I'm very positive.
Thank you very much, Cheryl, for joining me on the Paddock and the Pavilion and updating us all on all the FairBreak news. And we look forward to cricket returning to FairBreak.
Thank you. I'm sure you'll hear more in the near future.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a walk-off grand slam or a base hit to center field. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Virginia. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.